I said, here's the bottom line when it comes to Floyd. Floyd wants people to think whatever they think. I said, Floyd's probably okay with people thinking that he's broke. He probably likes the fact that people think he's broke.
But what's so disappointing with me, Skip? Floyd Mayweather has gone through this before. What is it that you don't get? And I'm even more disappointed because you're on Instagram and on Twitter flaunting your opulence.
In 2015, and this man is, you won't hear me say a discouraging word about Floyd when it comes to IQ, smartness, his ability to make and handle money.
Yes.
But he's just flaunting, as you said, he's flaunting his opulence. He's also flaunting basically his middle finger at the IRS.
Porter is putting the pocket watchers on notice, claiming that those who think Floyd is fighting for survival are getting played by the best promoter in the business. He emphasizes that while the public obsesses over bank accounts and tax rumors, Mayweather and Pacquiao are simply returning to their livelihood for a high-stakes legacy fight.
I mean, people really don't understand boxing. The commentators, most people don't know about boxing. They don't know nothing, you know? And the world is ever changing, man. And Jake Paul, really, it was Floyd first, right? Floyd first did the first ever big super crossover celebrity boxing match against Conor McGregor, who was a UFC fighter. Who was Jake Paul fighting a lot of boxing matches against? Ex-UFC fighters. So it's almost like Floyd set up the blueprint, and then, you know, Jake Paul took it to another level, and Floyd's like, hey, man, I can't just let these young people do something better than me, and he getting all this bread. I used to be the money man. I was the money man, you know, and it is what it is, man.
Keith Thurman takes the controversy a step further, suggesting Floyd is actually feeling the heat from the new generation of influencer boxers. He claims Mayweather is jumping back in because he can't stand seeing guys like Jake Paul run off with the money man title and the massive bags that come with it.
He lives a very fancy lifestyle. Some people say that, you know, that they need the money. Pacquiao needs the money. Floyd needs the money. Hey, man, you need the money, get back in the business and make the money. It is what it is, man.
Keith Thurman isn't holding back either, pointing out that both legends have massive bills to pay for their high-end lifestyles. He's basically saying that if the bank account is running low, the only logical move for these two is to get back into the hurt business and cash out one more time.
About Mayweather Pacquiao too. They'll make a lot of money.
Robert Garcia simplifies the whole debate, admitting that regardless of the drama, the pure math of this rematch is undeniable. He knows that when you put two names this big together, the business side takes over, because at the end of the day, it's guaranteed to generate massive numbers.
Hope is that Floyd isn't going broke. So if he is, that he makes all the money in the world for a Pacquiao fight and rides off into the sunset a rich man. I wish him the best.
Max Kellerman adds a touch of class to the chaos, essentially wishing Floyd a happy retirement if this truly is his final cash out. He admits that if the greatest of our generation is actually hurting for money, there's no better way to secure his future than one last massive payday against his biggest rival. It's a bittersweet perspective that shifts the talk from greed to survival.
Let's be real, what this is all about, business. This is going to be a mega event. Doesn't matter how old they are. They're the two biggest names in boxing today, even if they aren't, you know, necessarily the most active fighters. And Mayweather's gonna have his exhibition with Mike Tyson in the Congo in April. Pacquiao's gonna do one in Vegas with Ruslan Provodnikov, and then they're gonna go towards the fight.
I don't know how you do an exhibition.
Mike Coppinger is looking past the age and the critics, reminding everyone that at the end of the day, boxing is a business, and these are still the two biggest brands on the planet. He points out that their busy schedule of exhibitions, from the Congo to Vegas, is just the runway for a massive mega event that will stop the world. It's a reminder that even if they aren't the most active pros anymore, their names alone are enough to break the internet. It's clear the plan is bigger than just one night at the Sphere. It's a worldwide tour leading to the ultimate payday.
Floyd has lost a lot of money, which is why he's continuing to fight through his career. And listen, Manny's political run in the Philippines wasn't great, right? So they're going back to what they do best. In this rematch, if anything.
Wade Plemons from the Wade Concept digs even deeper into the personal struggles behind the scenes, suggesting that both fighters are essentially being forced back into the ring. He claims that Floyd's lavish spending has finally finally caught up to him, while Manny's expensive political career in the Philippines left him looking for a way to recoup his losses. It's a raw look at the reality of being a superstar. When the lifestyle costs more than the retirement plan, you go back to the one thing that's always guaranteed to pay.
Mayweather has to do this fight because he need that bread. That's why. That's why. And it's funny when you have options. When you have options, yo, you can make your choice. When you doing great and you got money in the bank and you sitting pretty.
Tim Bradley is calling it as he sees it, suggesting that Floyd has lost the luxury of choice and is now being backed into a corner by his own finances. He argues that when you're truly sitting pretty with money in the bank, you don't take risks like this, implying that the only reason Floyd is back is because he's run out of other options. It's a harsh reality check from a man who shared the ring with these legends, painting a picture of a fighter who is no longer in control of his own schedule. Bradley takes the money man image on its head, suggesting the lifestyle has finally outpaced the income.
Mayweather didn't want this damn fight with Manny Pacquiao years ago, and now he wants this damn fight now. Because he needs money, that's why. All the rumors are true. It's a sad thing, but it is what it is.
Bradley goes even deeper, claiming that Floyd's sudden change of heart about a Pacquiao rematch is the ultimate tell that the rumors are true. He points out that Mayweather avoided this fight for years when he was at his peak, so wanting it now, at nearly 50 years old, can only mean one thing: the bank account is hurting. It's a sad but true perspective that views this entire event as a desperate survival move rather than a sporting comeback. By linking the rumors to Floyd's current actions, Bradley is telling the fans that the greatest promoter in history is finally being forced to sell his most prized possession just to stay afloat. But Shawn Porter is officially pushing back against the broke narrative, claiming that fans are completely misreading the situation.
Are they hurting for money? Do they need money? What more could they want? They've done this, they've done that.
They broke is different than our broke.
And on
That's
top
what
of
I
that,
always tell people.
Yeah, and on top of that, yeah.
Because my bills is way more than your bills.
Yeah.
So my broke is different than your broke.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. But I said to myself, I said, you know what? I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters why they're coming back.
Porter explains that when your lifestyle and bills are on a multi-million-dollar scale, the pressure to keep earning is just part of the game. It's a reality check that just because a fighter is chasing a massive payday, it doesn't mean they're down to their last cent, they're just maintaining an empire. Porter's perspective turns the money grab rumor into a simple matter of high-level math. It's not about being out of cash, it's about keeping the machine running at the speed they've become used to.
Main thing to me is both these gentlemen, this is what they've done their entire lives to support their families, to support themselves. This is their livelihood. This is that person that worked at a factory most of their life and then decided to retire. If that person could still get up and walk and do everything that they want to do and has a lively livelihood, and they want to go back to the factory, I don't think people would say, no, you retired, you can't come back to the factory. Oh, you can come back, but what are you thinking, like another year or two? You know, why do you want to come back to work? You just retired, whatever the case. This is the same thing for fighting.
Porter compares boxing to any other career, asking why we treat a fighter's retirement differently from a factory worker's. He argues that if a man spent 30 years mastering a craft and still has the health to do it, he should be allowed to go back to the factory without being judged. This is their livelihood and their identity. And for Porter, returning to the ring is just a man going back to the job he loves. It's a powerful metaphor that strips away the celebrity drama and reminds us that at their core, Floyd and Manny are just professionals returning to their office.
I think personally the difference is because this is the hurt business and because there are some ailments that you could encounter because of it being a hurt business, people look at it differently. And I'm encouraging people, when you do see a fighter retire and then come back, don't jump to the conclusion that that fighter is broke. Don't jump to the conclusion that that fighter don't know what else to do with their lives. Understand that that fighter has put in countless hours and days and years, upwards to the 30 and 40. And when that person says, I'm going back to work, that's essentially what they're doing. They're just going back to work. Can't be too mad at it.
Porter wraps up by urging fans to stop jumping to the broke conclusion every time a legend laces up the gloves. He acknowledges that because boxing is the hurt business, people get protective and assume the worst, but he insists that it's often just a veteran choosing to work again. He wants the world to understand that after 40 years in the gym, going back to work is a choice made out of habit and passion, not just financial ruin. It's a call for respect, asking the public to let these icons exit on their own terms without slapping a desperate label on their legacy.
I think the main thing, I don't know how much people are mad and hate Manny, but Floyd's whole persona was, I print money. I'm bigger than the dollar.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah.
I got a private jet. I got a house here, mansion here. Everything was money, 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 money. And people watch Floyd for majority of his career for him to lose.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you lost all that money. People just want to see him Floyd lose because of the persona he built up.
But Anthony Brennan argues that Floyd's own money persona is exactly what makes people suspicious. He explains that since Mayweather spent decades bragging about mansions and private jets, the public is now naturally obsessed with seeing that flashy empire crumble. For Ant, the fans aren't just watching a fight, they're watching to see if the man who claimed to be bigger than the dollar has finally run out of them. It's a fascinating look at how Floyd's own branding has turned his bank account into a target for every critic in the world. This obsession with his wealth is a direct result of the billionaire image he spent his entire career building.
Everything he built was on money. If he don't have money, he don't have nothing.
So you don't think he?
We good with just our family.
No, I'm not saying he's broke.
No, hell no.
So you don't think he all right with people thinking?
Hell no.
I feel different.
Hell no.
I guess I was wrong, TMZ.
Every time
take.
I made this great investment. Right. I did this investment, lie about stuff. That's Floyd Money Mayweather. He does not want to be broke in nobody's eyes.
He lying about his
I'm just saying.
Ant digs deeper into the psychology of the money man, suggesting that Floyd's entire sense of self-worth is tied to his net worth. He believes that if you take away the stacks of cash, Floyd feels like he has nothing left to offer, which is why he constantly brags about great investments, even when rumors say otherwise. According to Ant, the idea of being seen as broke is Floyd's biggest fear, making this fight a desperate attempt to protect his image. He suggests that Floyd might even be lying to himself about his finances just to keep the persona alive for the cameras. This creates a situation where every fight isn't just a sporting event, but a public validation of his bank account.
Just saying.
But literally, he's my favorite fighter.
Yeah.
And I know that was the persona. I ain't got no problem with it. Hey, hate on him. We're going to the ring about the Texas dude ass.
Well, I think it's interesting that a lot of people are hyped about this fight.
Boy, they want him to lose so bad.
Yeah.
Lose. They feel like they already won because he broke.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy? They won because he broke.
It's the sad culture that we live in, though.
Ant touches on the raw emotion of the boxing community, noting that some fans feel like they've already won just by seeing Floyd return at this age. He points out the irony that the same people who wanted to see him lose his O are now celebrating the idea that he might be struggling for money. It's a blunt observation about the culture of hate in sports. For many, seeing a billionaire forced back into the ring is more satisfying than any knockout could ever be. Ant suggests that the hype among certain crowds is fueled by the belief that the money man has finally been humbled by reality. This makes the rematch more than a boxing match. It's a trial of whether the legendary Mayweather lifestyle was actually sustainable.
Through 400, 450.
That's crazy. That's different.
So he made even more in his career. But
go ahead, cook, Shawn.
Well, I mean, Mayweather did. But
yeah.
When George Foreman came back, he said, my wife said, we need money and we're out of it and you need to go back. But see, part of what makes George Foreman so lovable to the public was that honesty in saying that.
Yeah.
And that made, that immediate, well, now we're on your side because you're being out front about it.
Shawn Zittel brings up a great point about how honesty changes the public's perception. He compares Floyd to legends like Mike Tyson and George Foreman, noting that Foreman became a fan favorite because he was upfront about coming back solely for the cash. For Shawn, the friction with Floyd isn't necessarily that he might need money, it's that he refuses to be honest about it like the legends who came before him. He suggests that if Floyd just admitted he was doing this for the bag, the public would likely be more supportive of the move. This lack of transparency is exactly what keeps the money grab rumors fueling the fire.
I was someone in Floyd's prime who recognized he probably was the best fighter of my lifetime, And what I enjoyed about him winning, along with him being the best, I once told a story on here that he pretended he didn't know who Paul Williams was the night after watching him knock out Sharpe Mitchell at the Orleans Hotel. And, guys like Miguel Cotto, he when he retired in 2008, that would have been fighting a apex Cotto. And De La Hoya had a receding hairline, but was still a much bigger man than he was, and was still a world champion when Floyd beat him in a huge fight. And anyways, his resume is sparkling, but you could certainly, with him and with a lot of other great fighters, say, not this fight happened and this fight didn't happen right when this guy was at his apex.
Shawn reflects on Floyd's prime, admitting that while Mayweather is likely the best fighter of our generation, his career has always been defined by perfect timing. He points out how Floyd navigated massive fights against guys like De La Hoya and Cotto, but always seemed to control the narrative of exactly when those fights happened. According to Shawn, this rematch feels completely out of character, because Floyd traditionally avoids risks that aren't perfectly calculated for his benefit. This suggests that the money man is stepping out of his comfort zone for a reason that might not be purely competitive or legacy-driven. It adds a layer of doubt as to why a master of perfect timing is choosing such a risky fight so late in life.
Fighters are always fighting for money. I remember Pat Barry, the gym used to train at Barry's Boxing, used to tell me, hey kid, the amateurs in the Olympics are about glory. The professionals are a business. That's when the glory you're making money.
Right.
And even when you're making a lot of money and in your prime, you're still fighting for money.
Right.
But he also fought to be the best.
Right.
And believed he was the best and proved he was the best. And I think as much as the money, he also cares about his
Right.
And if he's forced at almost 50 years old to come out of retirement to jeopardize his which he never really wanted to jeopardize. He never wanted to give Pacquiao his rematch. I beat him. I walked away in his mind and with a record to back it up. He has a seat at the table of the greatest who ever did it. I don't think he ever wanted to jeopardize it. And so if you're coming back...
Shawn breaks down the harsh reality of professional boxing, reminding everyone that while the Olympics are for glory, the pros are strictly a business. He explains that even in his prime, Floyd was fighting for money, but he also had his and his legendary status to protect at all costs. For Shawn, the fact that Floyd is willing to jeopardize that undefeated record at almost 50 years old is the biggest red flag of the entire situation. He argues that Floyd never truly wanted to give Pacquiao a second chance, so doing it now suggests he's being forced by a financial hand he can't ignore. It highlights a massive shift from protecting a legacy to potentially sacrificing it for a final massive payday.
So I think there's a difference though between, I'm fighting for money. Yes, I'm still in my prime or close to it. I could still operate at the highest level and I'm coming back because I owe people money and I need to get back to that. Wouldn't you, Shawn, if you had to come back?
Shawn draws a very sharp line between fighting for profit while you're at the top and fighting simply because you're in debt. He admits that every professional fights for money, but there is a world of difference between a champion operating at his peak and a legend returning because he owes people. This comment hits the heart of the money grab debate, suggesting that the motive for this return is the most important part of the entire story. If Floyd is coming back because he has to rather than because he wants to, it changes how the world views his entire career journey. It leaves the audience wondering if this is a victory lap or a desperate attempt to settle old scores with the bank.
I think that'll be a good fight. Hope, man, he's serious, man. He looks good as last fight he fought, too.
Yeah.
Whether the debate is going on about it being a money grab or not, Mike Tyson gave a refreshing take that focuses purely on the action inside the ropes. He isn't interested in the bank accounts or the broke rumors. He's looking at the fact that Pacquiao still has that legendary fire in his eyes. For Tyson, the physical condition of these legends is the only story that matters, and he seems genuinely impressed with how Manny has kept himself in fighting shape. It's a perspective that shifts the focus away from the business side and back to the spirit of the sport. Tyson's approval adds a layer of competitive legitimacy to the rematch, suggesting that if Iron Mike thinks it's a good fight, the fans should stop worrying about the money and start worrying about the leather.
If you're a true student of the game, and you're studying film and you go to the gym and you start working on things, you want to pull that off in the fight. So it's just, it's just being a student in the game, man. So, and as far as Floyd and Pacquiao, man, it's like, you know, it's going to be, I think it's going to even be a better fight this time, only because, you know, obviously they're going to be, you know, they slow down. You know, Floyd can't, I don't think he's going to be able to move as much as he used to.
Gabe Rosado also ignores the money grab noise and looks at this through the eyes of a true student of the game. He suggests that this rematch might actually be more entertaining than the first one because age has forced both men to slow down. Rosado believes that since Floyd won't be able to rely on his usual elite movement and track star defense, he'll be forced to stand his ground and actually trade. It's an interesting take that turns the too old criticism into a reason why the fight will be a certified war. He's looking for the technical adjustments that only two masters of the craft can pull off under pressure.
And then, you know, Pacquiao still kind of got that flow with him. You know, he showed it in Barrios fight. So, like, I think we know what Pacquiao's gonna bring to the table is gonna be more interesting what Floyd got. You know what I'm saying? And Floyd still got those movements. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, Pacquiao's more of like the straight up fighter, where Floyd relied a lot on his speed.
Yeah.
We know that shit go. Like, you're not gonna have speed. You're not gonna have speed when you're 50.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I think it's gonna be a very competitive fight just because of the both of them slowing down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna enjoy that fight.
Rosado breaks down the physical reality of the matchup, noting that while Pacquiao still has that signature flow, Floyd's biggest weapon, his speed, is the first thing to go at 50. He points out that since Mayweather can't just outrun his problems anymore, he has to rely on his IQ, which makes the fight incredibly competitive. For Gabe, the intrigue is in seeing if Floyd still has those defensive reflexes, or if Pacquiao's straight-ahead style will finally catch him. He's genuinely excited because the age gap has actually leveled the playing field for both legends. Instead of a tactical chess match, he's expecting a gritty, competitive fight that he's ready to sit back and enjoy. At the end of the day, the boxing world is completely torn down the middle. On one side, you have the skeptics like Tim Bradley and Shawn who see the money man persona cracking under the weight of financial reality and a desperate need to reclaim his throne from the influencer era. On the other side, you have peers like Shawn Porter and Gabe Rosado who argue that this isn't about being broke, but about the relentless drive of a professional returning to his factory for one last masterclass. Whether this is a tactical legacy move or the ultimate retirement fund heist, the fact remains: Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are still the only two names that can force the entire world to stop and watch. Do you believe Shawn Porter is right? That Floyd is simply a master of deception playing a broke character to lure us into the sphere? Or are you with the critics who think the high roller lifestyle has finally caught up to him, making this a mandatory cash out? Does the fact that they are nearly 50 years old take away from the greatness? Or does it make the technical challenge more intriguing, as Gabe Rosado suggested? Is it even possible for a fight this big not to be a money grab in the modern era of boxing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this.